How'd you fall into the music job? I would love to know.
Well, do you want me to start from
Yeah.
Musica, or do you want me to start from the beginning?
Start from the top.
Start from the top.
I mean, I've booked shows. I was 15 at the first time I booked a show, and then obviously fell into music. Then, bounced around, played some bands, and eventually did shows in my basement. Then I moved to Cleveland. I was doing shows, photos, design, video. Then I moved to Akron, and then position opened up at Musica, and so I jumped in, and now I do that.
I feel like
That's the abridged version.
I think a big connection to the music scene for you has always been like your photography work, right?
Yeah.
Like I've always known you like in my course in bands as Andy. He takes band photos. He supports local music. He likes going and hanging out at shows and stuff like that. So how did those two worlds kind of connect? Was it like music first, and then you started just liking the idea of being able to take photographs in those types of situations, or how did those intertwine?
It was definitely music first. I booked shows, and I did that stuff for a while. Then I was living at the house in Akron that did shows in the basement. It's a Kling thing. Then I had taken some photos, and eventually decided to take it seriously. Mm-hmm. And then I moved to Cleveland, and that's when it really kind of took off. And that's what I did for about 8 years, doing show photos at May Halls and all over, and got to tour around and whatnot. And then that was my passion for a while, and then I kind of lost the passion.
Yeah.
I didn't, you don't make money doing show photos. You don't make, it's not lucrative in Cleveland as like just doing shows. And that's what I was mostly doing. So, I did the weddings, and that was fine. I had a lot of fun. I luckily never had any bridezillas and any of that, but it just wasn't my passion. So I kind of lost that kind of fierce passion for photo, and started looking into other things of business ventures. It's an adventure that I don't know. It just bounced around, and then eventually I just moved to Akron, and COVID hit and kind of changed everything. So I kind of pivoted in my career, and now I run a cool space that has a lot of history and a lot of feels good. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Sorry if I speak really shitty.
That's fine. You speak perfect.
Okay.
I think that that's a really interesting, as you kind of look at how it all connected and everything. I used to talk a lot about when I was in a band, for example, everybody does certain things or involve themselves with certain avenues because they have a specific passion within that, right? And a lot of people would look at, okay, cool, Andy's doing photography, because he really likes taking photos, right? Mm-hmm. Or I was in a band because I really like playing guitar, right? Or, whatever, any number of things. Josh is taking video because he really likes taking video, or video for companies, Mm-hmm. And in my case with music, I really liked playing guitar, right? That was my passion for a long time. But I realized as I was creating a band, and as I was working through all of the ins and outs of member changes and figuring out these more nuanced details with this, and how do we keep ourselves together on this 2-week tour when one of our members is having a mental breakdown over here and this is happening over here and stuff like that. I started realizing that the overall managing of the band and the overall building and creating something was something that I had more of a passion for.
Same.
And playing guitar in the band was just my vehicle in order to do that, And once I came to terms with that, that's when it became 100% clear to me that it didn't need to be a band, right? And that's where I pivoted from band to dog training. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Where I learned a lot of the skills that I think helped me quite a bit as I started a company or I started training dogs while I was quote unquote managing the band that I was in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In your case, it sounds like it's very similar, where music has always been your passion, and specifically that kind of underground scene of music, right? And all of that. And photography was kind of your vehicle in order to really involve yourself in that world, where now you're pivoting to, because it's, it's music, right? You really love music. You're pivoting to managing a music venue where you're still able to be an integral part of that music scene,
Yeah, I feel like I've always wanted to just be a helper. Before I was a photographer, we'd bring bands and play in my basement. I was working as a screen printer, doing mostly band merch, including David's band. At the time, I didn't really know him, but it goes back that far, and it's always just I want to help. And in the pandemic, I started a little record label just to help my buddies put some things out, like nothing like
shout out End Note Records.
And just some fun, but like everything, it's always trying to help bands get to the next level. My friends realize their potential with their music. So being able to book bands in a beautiful room is, feels good.
100%. Yeah. I like that kind of mentality of like you're trying to figure out how you could help the music scene, right? And specifically your friends that are in bands and helping them realize their potential, right? Everybody knows when you're in music, like the hardest first part is getting that initial, year or two out of the way when you're trying to grow and realize, wow, we actually are doing something that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So having anybody support you along that process is really cool. We were super young, like during that period of time. So like, I don't think any of us took it seriously enough where we would get down on ourselves if it wasn't doing anything cool.
Yeah.
But if you're starting a band a little bit later on or something like that, having that support system is like essential.
Yeah.
Super cool.
And I mean, having someone that's not going to take advantage of said bands, because that's a big thing too. It's a very toxic community. From like when I was touring and stuff. I mean, we got shafted a couple of times from really bad people,
Yeah, that's my goal, is to not be that guy.
Yeah.
Because I know that guy. Well, there's not one person, one guy. It's just
We do know that guy though.
Yeah, but we do know that guy.
I know how that works, and it sometimes you can't always pay the bands what you want to pay, like on a night, but never try to take advantage of them and hurt them. Or,
Sure.
I'm not. If a band doesn't get paid, I don't get paid. So
providing opportunities still.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel it.
And maybe that's all a learning curve. I'm still new to this whole side of the music business, where I actually have a role that's kind of managerial in nature, I guess. I don't know exactly. I'm figuring it out every day, one day at a time. I find something new every day.